Pointer dogs, helpful or hurtful? Learning to keep the focus on yourself, by Joe Ritigliano and Gary Balzano. Noticing others' faults and pointing them out is so easy to do. See what happens in this story about some dogs that were too busy looking at others that they never noticed their own problems. Pointer dogs are a breed of dogs that are useful to hunters. They have a keen sense of smell, so they can help locate wild game in places where it is difficult for hunters to find on their own. When a pointer dog picks up the scent of the animal being hunted, its body becomes motionless. Then he points his body in the direction that tells the hunter where to look. Now, as helpful as these dogs are to hunters when they're hunting, there were some pointer dogs that became more of a nuisance. Their names were Molly, Rusty, and Ginger. The three dogs pointed at more than just wild game when they were hunting. If they saw something go wrong for someone, they were right there to point it out. No one liked this group of pointer dogs. They didn't mind that someone noticed a problem they were having, because that can sometimes be helpful. What they didn't like was the way these dogs would walk up and point at them no matter where they were. Not only were these pointers annoying to others, but when they were together, things were much worse. Each dog was unable to see any problem he himself may have had, because they were too busy pointing at the dog next to them. One day, the three dogs decided to go out for a bike ride together. They agreed to meet by the large oak tree in the park. When they arrived, they began to notice problems with each other's bicycles. Immediately, they began to point at one another. Molly's bike had a bent rim, but she didn't notice it because she was too busy pointing at Rusty's bicycle that had a flat tire. Now Rusty, whose bicycle had a flat tire, was unaware of his problem because he was pointing at a broken seat on Ginger's bicycle. Ginger, who had the broken seat, couldn't see her problem because she was too busy pointing at Molly's bicycle with the bent rim. Each of the dogs continued to point at one another, thinking to themselves how foolish the others were for not fixing their problem. There was one other dog named Spot who was invited to ride with the other dogs. While on his way, Spot passed a bicycle shop. His bicycle needed repairs, but because he was late, he hurried along. When Spot arrived at the large oak tree, he noticed Molly, Rusty, and Ginger focusing on each other's problems. Realizing this was not good, Spot decided to leave because he didn't want to pick up their bad pointing habits. On his way home, Spot stopped at the bicycle shop and talked with the owner about the problems he was having with his bicycle and what he could do to fix them. The owner told Spot to take some time and look over his bicycle and see what needed to be repaired. So Spot went home and began to look over his bicycle. He was able to see that his bicycle needed a lot of work. He made a list of all the things he needed to fix. Then Spot went back to the bicycle shop and picked up the parts he needed to make the repairs. While at the shop, Spot saw a repair book that he decided to buy, knowing that it would help him make the repairs correctly. When Spot arrived home, he began to work on his bicycle. He used the repair manual to make sure he was doing the job right. If Spot came across a problem that was too difficult to fix, he called the bike shop and the repairman helped answer his questions. After working for many days, the condition of the bicycle had improved. Finally, the big day arrived when Spot was ready to take his bicycle out for a ride. The weather was just right, so he put on his helmet and off he went. Spot had been riding around for a while when he happened to be passing by the park. He decided to ride through. As he was pedaling around, he happened to pass by the large oak tree where he first met Molly, Rusty, and Ginger. He stopped and looked in surprise as he noticed the same dogs in their same pointer positions. Yes, their bicycles were in the same poor condition as they were before. Spot continued on his ride. As he was pedaling along, he smiled to himself. He realized he had learned a valuable lesson. Spot saw how important it is to focus on one's own problems and do what needed to be done to correct them. We can all admit there are times when we look at others and point at their problems, just like Molly, Rusty, and Ginger did. The next time that happens, remember this story and do what Spot did by keeping the focus on yourself. You will be surprised how helpful it will be. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrites! First take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Matthew 7, verses 3 to 5. For more stories by the storyteller, go to www.joeystory.com.